this video, I'm going to talk about how I got into my nuclear medicine program. Hi, I'm Ashani. I'm currently a nuke med student and I'm going to graduate in May. When I decided to embark on this journey, I couldn't find any videos about what nuclear medicine school is like or what the program entails. So I'm creating this channel to help other people who are interested in nuclear medicine and also for myself to see how my career goes in nuclear medicine. I hope that everyone can find some utility out of this video, even if you decide that nuclear medicine is not for you. Two quick notes before I get started. Number one, this is how I got into my program. Programs across the country vary immensely, and you'll find that the requirements I state may not be the ones that you need for your program, or that your program is going to require more than what I say today. Before you apply for your program, please double check what your local school requires. Second thing, I feel like most people don't know what nuclear medicine is. I didn't know what it was when I applied for the program, or even when I was in the program until I had my first nuclear medicine course. So here's a quick rundown of it. To be very succinct, nuclear medicine is a branch of radiology in which you inject radioactivity to see organ functionality. I feel like that was a little confusing. Let me give you an example. The heart. Most people have heard of x-rays. So you can take an x-ray of the heart. Well, what do you see when you take an x-ray of the heart? You can see very physical things about it. You can see where it is, and you can see how big it is and stuff like that. Whereas in nuke med, when you do a cardiac study, you actually see how well the heart pumps blood, and you can actually quantitate it. So you can say the left ventricle had a 53% ejection fraction. So x-rays, you can see the physical part. With nuke med, you can see how it's actually pumping. Now that was a very narrow definition of nuke med. There's a lot more. There's therapies, you can deal with instrumentation, there's a bunch of different radiopharmaceuticals, but diagnostic wise, you're looking at functionality of a specific organ. So yay, you decided that nuclear medicine sounds really cool and you want to get into it. What's the first thing you should do? You should probably look up an accredited program near you. The Joint Review Committee on Educational Programs in Nuclear Medicine Technology accredits programs that are up to their standards. There's a much shorter acronym, JRCNMT, and on their website at jrcnmt.org, you can look up accredited programs near you, and you can see how many students are allowed in their programs, and they have links, so you can go directly to the school's website and see what the requirements are. As of right now, you only need an associate's to be able to sit for your boards and practice. There's always talk to make it a bachelor's program, but as of right now in January 2022, you only need an associate's. So you found an accredited program. The next thing I had to do was take prereqs. Prereqs might vary a lot depending on what program you're in. What I personally had to take before I even got into the program was Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2 with labs, Chemistry with labs, English Comp 1 and 2, Psychology, Physics 1 with lab. It just had to be algebra based though. And something I think that's unique to my program was I had to take cross-sectional anatomy. A note about some of the prereqs was you had to take some classes before you could take others. So you couldn't take AMP2 before you took AMP1, you had to take AMP1 and then AMP2. Another thing was I didn't mention math because it technically wasn't a requirement for the program, but in order to take my physics class, you had to have, I think, up until like college algebra. Some other courses that might be on your prerequisites might be like statistics or microbiology, medical terminology, but again, this depends on the programs. Some schools have it that you don't have to take these courses before your program, they're actually built into the curriculum. So in that case, you just adhere to whatever requirements they had before the program, and then starting with your first semester, you'll be taking the courses sequentially. My program had a minimum GPA of 2.5. A lot of the programs have a minimum GPA. I've seen it from 2.5 to 3.0. Some programs have you take the HESI or TEAS. I didn't have to take them. For those of you who are wondering, they're just like, I believe, SAT type exams. Actually, I had to submit my SAT or ACT scores, so I think that kind of took the place of them, but I'm sorry I didn't have to take them. Another thing that's common is an interview, and I didn't have to do that at all, so I apologize. I don't have any preschool interview tips. Sorry. So the way I got into my program was, it was a point system. So having my GPA in a certain range gave me points, and all my grades in my prerequisite courses also gave me points. Here's some tips that you might want to hear about before you apply for the program. If you have a higher GPA, you're more likely to get in, but you might want to be careful about how many times you take a course. Sometimes, like in my program, you can only take a course twice. So they'll take the higher of the two grades, but they'll only look at the first 2 times you've taken them. This one's a little bit unique to Nuke Med. For most other programs, like nursing or x-ray school, you can apply to a lot of programs. Nuke Med, not so much. So the closest schools to me were 1 hour away and then an hour and a half away. And actually the one that was 1 hour away closed down, so I couldn't even apply to it. If you're dead set on nuclear medicine, then go for it. But in the event that you don't think you're gonna get in, or you're not 100% invested in the Nuke Med program, it might be worthwhile to look at other prerequisites for like nursing or PTA or sonography, and take the prerequisites for those classes as well, so that way you have options. Sometimes schools won't let you apply to 2 programs within that same school, so you could apply to the nuclear medicine technology in that one school, but you can't also apply to sonography in that same school. So again, if you're wishy-washy about something, you could apply to the Nuke Med program in that one school and then see what the sonography requirements are for another school and apply there. That way you have options, and then you can look at which one you really want to do more. Before you apply, I would really recommend job shadowing. I know it's really difficult with COVID. If you know someone, or if you know someone that knows someone, it can be really beneficial. There's not that many videos on what a Nuke Med Tech does, so it can be difficult to decide if that's what you want to do. The best way is really to see. A note before you start the program is that most schools require you to have at least a 75% to even pass the class. Some might be higher, some might be a couple points lower, but the reason why it's like that is so that you can sit for your boards and pass your boards. The reason why I bring that up is someone actually told me that they were thinking about the Nuke Med program because I know nursing and sonography also have that same requirement that you have to have at least like a 75 or 78 in order to pass the class, and they said Nuke Med programs don't have that. Completely not true. You do need to have that 75, 76, 77 in order to pass the class. One more tip before you apply for the program is you should probably check the job market in your area. You can just go on like Indeed or Glassdoor and type nuclear medicine technologist and select your area and see what kind of jobs pop up. Right now the market is slowly going out for Nuke Med Techs, but that is a really big complaint that a lot of students had, was they graduated with this degree but they couldn't find a job. Where I live, I actually have a pretty healthy amount of jobs, so I'm not really worried about that. But if you live very, very close to your school, chances are that immediate job market might be saturated and you'll have trouble getting a job. Now, if you're open to relocation, then you can make some pretty good money. But if you're hoping to stay in your area, then just double check before you apply and go on this entire journey just to not have a job at the end. One last thing, don't let not getting into the program get to you. I know it can be really frustrating. I've gotten rejected from so many schools, not for Nuke Med, but for other things. It made me question myself of whether I can even be in the medical field. if I'm smart enough, but there might be a million reasons why you didn't get in. It might have just been bad timing, maybe they had already accepted the amount of students that they wanted. There's so many factors that go in. There's a lot of great jobs in the medical field if your main goal is to help patients. There's great job opportunities in every modality of radiology, so don't let it get to you. That's it for my video. Please leave any questions in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you!